Now, after sharing these dreams, which informs Joseph of his destiny, Joseph experiences a series of excruciating trials required to prepare him for his destiny. Joseph is rejected and betrayed by his brothers, who sell him into bondage. Joseph is falsely accused of a sinful act that he did not commit, and although proven innocent, he is maligned and unjustly imprisoned. Finally, in the wise plan of God, Joseph is exonerated and given great authority in Egypt. He then brings his family to him in Egypt, where they too flourish under his divine governance. And that's why Joseph is one of the most beautiful stories in the Holy Quran and also in the Bible. Because most of us like to see somebody who's trounced unlawfully rise up and redeem themselves and get to where they were predestined to be before everything else, all the drama took place. Now let us briefly consider each of these scenes, especially the scene that bears on the domestic life of the Messiah, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Now again, the synagogue of Satan has only one stone to throw, and that stone is to be thrown at the domestic life of the Messiah in their effort to disgrace him through lies and slander, in not just the U.S. public's eyes, but in the world public. According to the Bible and Holy Quran, Joseph is a victim of a plot hatched by his brothers to murder him. However, instead of slaying him, they agreed to sell him into captivity. Now let's consider these scenes going back to the biblical narrative. It states, "And when they, Joseph's brethren, saw him, Joseph afar, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again." Now, this is kind of unusual because Reuben is a brother, and Reuben has a great significant place in the scriptures, in the prophecies. So he's planning. Going to verse 23. "And it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And then there passed the Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto the Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard." Now, these verses have many connotations to the destiny of the lost found nation of Islam. Now, here Joseph is a prototype of an entire people, Abraham's seed, but he's also a prototype of the Messiah, who comes to power throughout the earth as the ruler of the earth. Now, as it pertains to the history of the lost found nation of Islam, in a nutshell, these verses relate to the events that occurred between 1975 and 1977 in terms of the fulfillment of these prophetic scenes. After the Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed to the great mother plane, but was considered dead by most of those who followed him, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan was no longer the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he was also moved away from the temple in New York, which was a prosperous temple. In other words, he was lowered into a pit by his envious brothers who assumed the leadership of the lost foundation of Islam in 1975. Now, here, this pit also relates to the prophecy where Jonah is put in the belly of a whale. That pit relates to the estrangement of the Messiah from the teaching that governed his life. And again, there's reasons for that. We won't go into that in this message. Now, let us continue with the Quranic narrative of Joseph. It states, so when they, Joseph's brethren, took him away and agreed to put him down at the bottom of the pit, we revealed to him, thou wilt certainly inform them of this affair of theirs while they perceive not. Now that's a unique statement. So this is an instance where Allah comforts his servant when he or she is undergoing a major trial. He makes them aware that they will get through the trial so that they will not be laden with bitterness about the process of the trial. Why? Well, bitterness is blinding. God takes you through a trial. Who wants to come out of a trial bitter? You need other people involved in your trial. But if you make them the focus and become bitter, then you will miss what it is that you were supposed to gain, or I was supposed to gain from that trial.